if we would go to the recruiting board for the state of Nebraska for the 22 class, and even going into 23, for who's committed and who's interested in whom, Nebraska, I don't think, would fare as well as most fans would hope in bringing in. I got to think the top 10 or 12 players in the state would be targets, right?
Well, you're always going to want the top guys out of the state. 10 or 12 is kind of a stretch.
Is it?
Yeah. Usually you're looking to bring in 4 or 5 in-state guys. The top 4 or 5 guys that you're going to be able to get. But you'll take more, obviously, if those guys fit your needs at that time. I mean, obviously, we've seen Nebraska overlook guys because that just wasn't a position of need in the past. So, they've got their targets on the board, and they've been working them hard. That's the one thing that has really helped this season. I mean, we've talked all along about this very small recruiting class. 13 guys. You're never going to, people are, why are they ranked so low? Because you only got 13 guys in. If you want a high ranked class with 13 guys in it, you better have like 6 5-star guys and the rest are 4 stars. So that has allowed Nebraska to concentrate more on, the upcoming years, the 2023s, the 2024s. So that's where they've been putting most of their time into. And obviously this season was kind of an anomaly where you missed out on most of the top guys. And quite frankly, most of those guys didn't grow up here and were not Nebraska fans. And the whole time that they've lived here and stuff, Nebraska hasn't been very good. So, they chose to go elsewhere, and they made that known early. So Nebraska moved on from them and didn't push the issue any longer. So, like I said, you can't take everybody in state, obviously, but you're always going to target those top 4 or 5 guys that you really covet and that can help your program. And then you find other guys, diamonds in the rough throughout the year that, at least you bring them in as a preferred walk-on, or you offer them later, where you saw that happen with a guy in this class, like a Gage Stenger, who was committed to Kansas State. But his play really warranted an offer. Nebraska had an open spot for that, so they made the offer, and he quickly jumped on that and decommitted from Kansas State, and now he's going to be a Husker. So that's kind of the way you have to look at it. You can't just bring in. You're not a state that's loaded with superior talent where you can say, oh yeah, we'll bring in the top 15 guys and we'll be fine. It just doesn't work that way here in a state like Nebraska.
But in a sense, because of that, it's more important that you make sure you get as many of the top 5 as possible, which I've gone back to 2019. So in that particular year, the Huskers got all 5 of the top 5, which was Nick Heinrich, Chris Hickman, Garrett Nelson, Garrett Snodgrass, and Ethan Piper. So 2 of those guys definitely worked out. And then the other years, the return's a little less productive here. Hang on. In 2020, that class, Nebraska got 2 out of the top 5 with Xavier Betts and Isaac Gifford. You know what the story is on him?
Well, yeah, he came in. He's the one who took over for JoJo Doman after JoJo's season.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah. So he's still a freshman. So he got in there, and he's on track to be a starter on the Black Shirts defense next year. So yeah.
Then in 2021, just 1 out of 5, and that was Ernest Houseman. And the other 4 went to Missouri, Oklahoma, Auburn, and Oregon.
Right. And like we're saying, that those guys, they made that known early that they were not going to come to Nebraska. Obviously, for the last couple of years, Nebraska had been recruiting them up until a point where they knew it was not, it wasn't for them. So they're all good players in their own right. I see, Gary asking that too, but you know what? I've seen him play a lot of football, and he didn't do much in front of me. So, we'll see if he pans out at Oregon or not. So, the jury's out on all these guys. And I'll tell you what, I've seen Ernest Houseman play quite a bit, and I really like his upside. And he might be a dandy here down the road. So, it's all about your needs and your class size and what you're getting. Two of those guys that you just brought up were tight ends, and Nebraska, as we know, is loaded at the tight end spot and didn't need to go after those guys, so it was not a big deal to them. Obviously, the offensive tackle at Omaha Central, you would have liked to have him probably as a guard or center, especially losing Cam Jurgens, but he's the only one that I would think that you kind of missed on. So we'll see. I mean, there's issues with all these guys. Bottom line, rankings aside, a lot of those rankings come from guys that have never seen these guys play in person. Our opinions get mattered less and less, I think, every year for the guys that are out there in the trenches watching these kids day in and day out. I think that's just kind of the way the business has gone. Maybe at Rivals, I don't know, but if it's happened elsewhere. But it's been a strange year this year. Recruiting, the interest has dropped so much just with COVID and everything going on, and so we need to get back to normalcy to get everything back the way it's supposed to be and get people back involved in. I'm not just saying fans, but I'm talking about the whole industry nationally, because you have a lot of people that just, quite frankly, don't go out and see kids anymore just because it's they don't want to travel and go through what society's going through right now.
The top 5 on Rivals for the state of Nebraska for 2023 is, as you well know, Gunnar Katula, the offensive tackle's number 1. He's a verbal to Nebraska. The number 3 player is Ben Brahmer, tight end, verbal to Nebraska. So out of Malachi Coleman, out of Lincoln Northeast, Maverick Noonan.
Lincoln East. That's my high school.
Lincoln East.
Don't call him
familiar.
Don't say nothing. We don't claim that.
Maverick
Noonan. Yeah.
Noonan and Tatum Tuitu.
That's Tatum Tuioti. Probably
Tatum Tuioti.
Boy,
did I butcher that?
Probably will be in Oregon next year. Probably won't be an in-state kid anymore since his dad. How about dad took a job at Oregon?
How about Coleman and Noonan? What are their possibilities of landing in
Maverick?
Lincoln?
Well, Maverick Noonan's dad is also a legend here.
Yep,
his name
Danny.
Is and yeah, he's the most highly coveted recruit for Nebraska in this class, in-state wise. I think chances are really good. He visits. He's been to. I think he's at every game. He's on the sidelines at every game as a visitor. And I think his dad wants him to play here, and we'll see. So chances are really good. Now Malachi Coleman, another guy that just started to blow up this year, Lincoln East, and he is a stud. I'll tell you what. I graduated from Lincoln East in 1987, and I can guarantee you, in my lifetime, East High football, nobody's ever seen a guy like this at East ever. He's 6'6". He can run. He's listed as a wide receiver, but I love him as a rush end. He plays both ways, and he is a difference maker on defense. I compare him to a Randy Gregory, who's doing pretty well for the Dallas Cowboys when he's available for him. But yeah, this kid can just shut you down. Um, I mean, I see him make amazing plays off of the edge, and it doesn't help to be six, or it doesn't hurt to be 6'6" as a wide receiver either. You send him on a go route, and you just chuck it up there, and he's usually going to come down with it. He's got great soft hands, so outstanding athlete. I love this kid, and I want to say I think Iowa State was the first to offer him, and then Nebraska jumped in right after that. Literally a day after I watched him play on a Friday night and had an outstanding game. And I love Nebraska's chances with Malachi Coleman as well. He's another guy that's on the sidelines every game as an official or unofficial visitor. So yeah, those two guys right there. Right now, I think Nebraska, you can ink those two guys in there with Bill Brahmer and Gunnar Gatula. And I would love I would love for Tatum Tuioti to stay here and play, but Tony Tuioti is doing what's best for his family, moving to Oregon, closer to his home base and family and everything. And you really wanted to see Tatum Tuioti play here because I love his upside too. Him and Maverick Noonan are my two favorite guys in this class. Seriously, both playing basically an outside linebacker spot, defensive end spot, and are so much fun to watch, both of them. And yeah, I would have definitely would have said Tatum Tuioti is going to be a Husker for sure if his dad was still here. But I mean, they're not going to stop recruiting him, obviously, and because you also still have the ties there with the Akana family, who's the number one outside linebacker in the country for this class out of Honolulu, Hawaii, whose sister stars on the Nebraska volleyball team here too. So, yeah, that's a big loss losing the Tuiotis, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I really think Nebraska has a great shot to land at least the top 4 guys in this class out of the state, maybe the top 5, obviously. So